the easy path is crowded. Look around and you'll see folks taking shortcuts, searching for quick fixes, wanting everything now. But success, real success, it lives on a different road altogether. The path to success is uphill, it's rocky, and sometimes it feels lonely. But here's what I've learned after all these years. Everything worthwhile in life comes after you've done what's hard. Most people wish for success. They hope for it. They dream about it at night. But wishing doesn't build success any more than wishing builds a house. You need to put in the work. You need to lay the foundation brick by brick, and some of those bricks are heavy. Some days your back will ache from the effort. Your hands might blister, but at the end you'll have something solid, something real, something that lasts. I remember talking to a young man once who told me he wanted to be successful. I asked him, "How early do you get up?" He said, "About 8 o'clock. I said, "You've got to get up earlier than that." He looked puzzled and asked why. I told him because success comes at a price. And part of that price is getting up early and working while others are still sleeping. He didn't like my answer, but that's the truth. Success demands you do what's uncomfortable when comfort feels so much better. The hard things, they're the dividing line between average and extraordinary, between mediocre and magnificent, between getting by and getting ahead. Let me tell you something straight. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you deserve. And you deserve what you're willing to work for, sacrifice for, and sometimes suffer for. That's the bargain. That's the deal. And once you understand that deal, everything changes. Take a minute and think about anything worthwhile in your life. Your education, your career, your relationships, your health. Was any of it easy to build? Of course not. The good stuff costs something. Always has, always will. Why do people fail? It's simple. They avoid the hard things. They run from difficulty instead of running toward it. They choose what feels good in the moment instead of what produces good over time. They pick easy over effective, comfortable over challenging, convenient over constructive. Most folks are living their lives on the path of least resistance. They're floating downstream, letting the current take them wherever it wants. And then they wonder why they end up nowhere special. Success is upstream, always has been. You've got to be willing to go against the current. You've got to paddle when your arms are tired. You've got to keep moving when everyone else is taking a break. I'm not saying this to discourage you. I'm saying it because I want you to win, and winners aren't born. They're built through challenge, built through adversity, built by choosing the hard right over the easy wrong day after day after day. Think about exercise. Nobody gets stronger by lifting weights that don't challenge their muscles. You get stronger by pushing against resistance, by doing what's hard. Success works exactly the same way. Here's what most people don't understand. Avoiding what's hard doesn't make life easier. It makes life harder, because when you dodge difficulty, you don't develop. When you sidestep struggle, you stay small. And a small life eventually becomes a frustrated life, an unfulfilled life, a life of quiet regret. I've met thousands of people over the years who live with the pain of knowing they could have been more, done more, had more, if only they'd been willing to do what was hard when it mattered most. What's the alternative? Embrace the difficult. Welcome challenge. See problems as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, better. The hard road builds something in you that the easy road never can. You see, most people have it backward. They think success is about what you get, but success is really about who you become. And you become someone worthwhile by doing things that are difficult, by pushing your limits, by leaving your comfort zone so often you forget what comfort even feels like. I want to be very clear about something. Doing what's hard doesn't mean your life should be miserable. In fact, the opposite is true. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from tackling tough challenges. There's a quiet pride in knowing you didn't take the easy way out. There's a genuine joy in becoming someone who can do difficult things. The hard path actually leads to more happiness, not less. But it's happiness with roots. It's happiness you've earned. It's happiness that can weather storms because it's built on a foundation of personal strength, integrity. Now let's talk about personal discipline. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where intentions become actions, where wishes become work, where potential becomes performance. Personal discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It means getting up when you want to stay in bed. It means staying focused when distractions are calling your name. It means saying no to immediate pleasure so you can say yes to long-term prosperity. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. And that bridge is built one decision at a time, one action at a time, one day at a time. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. But that's backward. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you force yourself to do what's hard, you generate momentum. That momentum leads to results. Those results fuel your motivation. And that motivation makes the next hard thing a little easier to start. Here's a simple truth. You can't always control how you feel, but you can always control what you do. And over time, what you do shapes who you become. Successful people have figured out how to make the hard things habitual. They've trained themselves to do automatically what unsuccessful people have to force themselves to do. And that's a game changer. Think about what happens when something becomes a habit. It no longer requires the same level of willpower. It becomes your default, your normal, your automatic response. The first time you get up at 5 a.m. to work on your goals, it's painful. The 10th time is still tough. But by the 100th time, it's just what you do. The hard has become habit, and habit has become character. This is how you transform your life, not through dramatic overnight changes, but through consistent small actions that accumulate over time. Not through occasional heroic efforts, but through daily disciplines that quietly reshape who you are. Want to be successful? Start by identifying the habits that successful people in your field have adopted. What do they read? How do they spend their mornings? What skills do they practice regularly? When do they go to bed? How do they handle setbacks? Then comes the hard parts. You have to actually do those things, not once, not twice, but consistently, persistently, until they become part of who you are. Remember this? What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. The small choices you make when no one is watching, they're creating your future one day at a time. It is a powerful habit to develop. The habit of doing the most important thing first each day, not the easiest thing, not the most pleasant thing, not the thing that's screaming loudest for your attention. The most important thing, this simple practice, prioritizing what matters most, is rare. Most people live reactively. They respond to whatever's in front of them. They let their time be controlled by the demands of others. And at the end of the day, they wonder where the hours went and why they made so little progress on what truly matters. But when you develop the habit of putting first things first, you take control of your time, and by extension, your life. You ensure that what's most important gets your best energy, not your leftovers. I want to talk about investing in yourself when others won't. This is one of the hardest things to do, but also one of the most rewarding. Most people will invest in almost anything before they'll invest in themselves. They'll buy new clothes, new cars, new gadgets. They'll spend money on entertainment and eating out. But suggest they spend money on a book, a course, a conference, a coach, something that could actually increase their value and change their trajectory. And suddenly they become very concerned about their budget. This backwards thinking keeps good people stuck. Because here's the truth. You are your most valuable asset. Your knowledge, your skills, your habits, your mindset, these things determine what you can earn, what you can create, what kind of impact you can have. When you invest in yourself, you're making a statement. You're saying, I believe in my potential. I believe I'm worth the investment. I believe my future is worth sacrificing for. And that decision to bet on yourself when maybe no one else will, that's a hard decision. It might mean spending money when resources are tight. It might mean using your evenings and weekends for learning instead of leisure. It might mean being misunderstood by people who don't share your vision for your life. But those who do what's hard understand something fundamental. You can't give what you don't have, and you can't become what you don't invest in. When you invest in your growth, you're playing the long game. You're not looking for immediate gratification. You're looking for lasting transformation. You're not trying to feel good today. You're trying to build a better tomorrow. This kind of thinking is rare. It's countercultural. In a world obsessed with quick results and instant gratification, the willingness to plant seeds that might not bear fruit for years requires unusual wisdom and uncommon courage. But here's what I've observed. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. The best time to invest in yourself was when you were younger, and the second best time is right now. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. Don't wait for someone else to believe in you enough to invest in you. Take responsibility for your own growth. Be willing to do what others won't so you can have what others don't. Let's explore the relationship between growth and discomfort. They're inseparable, like sunrise and light. You simply cannot have one without the other. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not inside it, where everything is familiar and easy, and not too far outside it where you're so overwhelmed that you shut down, but right at the edge, where things are challenging but not impossible, difficult but not defeating. This is what psychologists call optimal anxiety. The sweet spot where you're pushed enough to grow, but not so much that you break. Finding this spot requires wisdom. It requires self-awareness. It requires the courage to stretch yourself without snapping. Think about how muscles grow. They don't get stronger during comfortable activities. They get stronger when they're pushed to the point of resistance, when they have to work against opposition. The process actually involves creating tiny tears in the muscle fibers, which then heal and rebuild stronger than before. Your character, your skills, your capacity, they grow in exactly the same way, through resistance, through challenge, through doing what's hard until it makes you stronger. But here's the interesting part. As you grow, what used to be hard becomes easier. What used to be outside your comfort zone becomes part of it. This is why successful people are constantly seeking new challenges. Not because they enjoy difficulty for its own sake, but because they understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're not regularly doing things that make you uncomfortable, you're not growing. It's that simple. Comfort might feel good in the moment, but it's a prison that keeps you trapped at your current level. Freedom comes from facing fears, trying new things, risking failure, and expanding your definition of what's possible for your life. When was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you felt that mix of excitement and fear that comes with stepping into the unknown? If it's been a while, that's a warning sign. It means you're playing it safe. And playing it safe might protect you from failure, but it also prevents your success. The hard path means choosing growth over comfort again and again and again. It means actively seeking out challenges instead of avoiding them. It means saying yes to opportunities that scare you a little or maybe a lot. Now, I want to talk about something most people try to avoid: failure. On the hard path to success, failure isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. You will fail, probably many times. The question isn't whether you'll fall. Most people have the wrong idea about failure. They see it as something to avoid at all costs, something that reflects poorly on their worth, something that proves they don't have what it takes. But those who do what's hard understand that failure is simply feedback. It's information. It's a necessary part of the learning process. It's not personal. It's educational. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall dozens, maybe hundreds of times. But we don't call those falls failures. We don't tell the child, maybe walking isn't for you. You should probably stick to crawling. We understand that falling is how they learn balance. It's how they build strength. It's how they discover what works and what doesn't. Yet somewhere along the way, many of us lose this understanding. We become so afraid of failing that we stop trying new things. We stick to what we know we can do well. We choose safety over growth, certainty over possibility. This fear of failure is one of the biggest obstacles on the path to success. It keeps talented people playing small. It keeps good ideas from becoming great businesses. It keeps potential masterpieces locked inside artists who are too afraid to create. Doing what's hard means changing your relationship with failure. It means seeing failure not as the opposite of success, but as a stepping stone to success. It means understanding that every no brings you closer to every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every setback contains the seeds of a comeback. Some of the most successful people in history were also some of the most spectacular failures. They just didn't let their failures define them or deter them. They extracted the lesson, adjusted their approach, and kept moving forward. When you fail, and you will, don't waste energy beating yourself up. Don't hide from the truth. And don't quit. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? What would I do differently next time? Then use that knowledge, take another step forward. Remember, the path to success isn't a straight line. It's a series of attempts, adjustments, and new attempts. It's falling, learning, and getting back up, stronger and wiser each time.
The compound effect is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, yet most people completely underestimate it. This principle is simple: small, consistent actions, compounded over time, create extraordinary results. It's like money gains interest in a bank account. Your efforts gather momentum when you apply them consistently. But here's the challenge: the compound effect works slowly at first. In the beginning, you might not see much happening. Your actions seem to disappear into a void with no visible return on your investment. This is where most people quit. They do what's hard for a day, a week, maybe even a month. But when they don't see immediate results, they concluded it's not working. They give up just before the magic starts to happen. Those who understand the compound effect, however, keep going. They trust the process. They know that invisible progress is still progress. They believe in the law of the harvest, that you reap what you sow, but not always immediately. If you improve just one every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better by the end of that year. Not 365 better, which would be impressive enough, but 3,700 better. That's the power of compounding. On the flip side, if you decline by just one each day, after a year, you'll have lost nearly everything. That's also the compound effect, working in the wrong direction. Small choices don't just add up, they multiply. The decision to read 10 pages of a good book every day doesn't just mean you read 3,650 pages in a year. It means your thinking is transformed by the ideas in those pages. It means your decisions are influenced by the wisdom you've absorbed. It means your actions reflect the principles you've studied. The same is true for every area of life. Small disciplines in how you eat and exercise compound into health and energy. Small kindnesses in how you treat others compound into rich relationships. Small improvements in how you do your work compound into career advancement and new opportunities. The hard part about the compound effect is that it requires patience. In a world of instant everything, patience has become a rare virtue. But those who do what's hard understand that some things simply cannot be rushed. You can't cram for the test of life. You can't microwave your way to mastery. You can't hack your way to character. Real success requires consistent effort applied over time. It demands that you show up day after day, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when you can't see results yet, especially when doubts creep in.
But here's the good news. While the compound effect works slowly at first, once it gains momentum, the results can be staggering. Suddenly, after months or years of consistent effort, things that once seemed impossible become almost effortless. Opportunities appear from nowhere. People notice your growth, doors open. It's like pushing a heavy boulder up a hill. At first, it takes everything you've got just to make it move a few inches. But once you get it to the top, it rolls down the other side under its own power, faster than you could have imagined. This is why doing what's hard pays off so dramatically in the long run. Not because each individual action is so difficult, but because maintaining consistency when results aren't yet visible, that's the real challenge. That's what separates those who succeed from those who merely wish they had. Let's talk about setting goals that stretch you beyond comfort. A good goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. It should make you think, this will be challenging, but I believe it's possible.
Most people set goals that are far too small. They aim for incremental improvements when what they really need are transformational targets. They play it safe instead of playing to win. Why? Because big goals come with big risks. They require you to grow. They demand that you become someone new, someone more capable, more disciplined, more resourceful than you currently are. And that process, the process of becoming, that's hard. It's much easier to set a comfortable goal, one you're pretty sure you can reach without too much stretching. But comfortable goals lead to comfortable lives, and comfortable lives, while pleasant in many ways, rarely lead to extraordinary achievement or deep fulfillment.
The hard path requires ambitious goals. It asks you to look beyond what seems reasonable based on your past and set targets based on your potential. It challenges you to aim high enough that you'll need to grow into the person capable of reaching that target. When you set a goal that makes your heart beat faster, that makes you wonder if you're being realistic, that forces you to ask how, instead of just what, that's when you know you're on the right track. Of course, merely setting a big goal isn't enough. You need a plan. You need to break that intimidating target down into manageable steps. You need to identify the skills you'll need to develop, the knowledge you'll need to acquire, the habits you'll need to build. But the goal comes first, because without a compelling destination, even the best map is useless.
It's something important to understand, 𝐘𝐸. The value of setting stretching goals isn't just in reaching them, it's in who you become in the process of pursuing them. Even if you fall short, you'll have grown more than if you'd aimed lower and succeeded.
That's why the hard path embraces ambitious goals. Not out of reckless overconfidence, but out of a deep understanding that human potential is vastly greater than most of us ever realize. We are capable of so much more than we believe, but we'll never discover those capabilities without challenges big enough to call them forth.
So ask yourself, are your goals big enough to scare you? Are they worthy of your time and energy? Do they demand your best? If not, it might be time to raise your sights, time to set goals that make you stretch, time to aim for targets that require you to become the person you're capable of being, not just the person you are today. Now let's discuss something that many people overlook, the importance of surrounding yourself with people who challenge you. Environment shapes you far more than most people realize. The people you spend time with influence your thinking, your beliefs, your standards, and ultimately your act. If you surround yourself with people who take the easy path, guess what path you'll likely follow. But if you surround yourself with people who do what's hard, who push themselves, who refuse to settle for mediocrity, their standards will pull you up.
This is one of the hardest parts of the success journey for many people, because it might mean distancing yourself from comfortable relationships. It might mean seeking out new circles where you're initially the least accomplished person in the room. It might mean enduring the discomfort of being challenged, questioned, and pushed beyond your current capabilities. But iron sharpens iron. You can't get a world-class education from people who know less than you do. You can't be pulled to higher levels by those who are satisfied with staying where they are. I'm not saying you should abandon old friends or look down on anyone. I'm saying you should intentionally seek out relationships with people who are where you want to be, who have qualities you aspire to develop, who will call out your best rather than accommodate your worst. These relationships might not always feel good in the moment. Having someone point out your blind spots, or question your thinking, or raise the bar for what's acceptable, that can be uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the feeling of growth. It's the sensation of your comfort zone expanding. The hard path means choosing growth-oriented relationships over purely comfortable ones. It means valuing truth over flattery, challenge over comfort, standards over convenience. Look at your 5 closest friends. Their average is probably your average in income, in health, in attitudes, in ambition. That's not a coincidence. We become like the people we spend the most time with. So choose those people wisely. Seek out mentors who have walked the path before you. Find peers who share your commitment to excellence. Build a community that supports your highest aspirations, not your comfortable habits. This doesn't happen by accident. You have to be intentional about it. You have to put yourself in environments where excellence is expected. You have to seek out conversations that challenge your thinking. You have to be willing to be the least knowledgeable person in the room so you can learn from everyone else. It's hard. It can be humbling, but it's a price worth paying for the growth that comes from it. Now let's talk about the rewards that come from doing what's hard. Because make no mistake, there are tremendous rewards waiting for those willing to pay the price. First, there's the reward of achievement itself. There's nothing quite like the feeling of accomplishing something you weren't sure you could do, of pushing through resistance, overcoming obstacles, and reaching a goal that once seemed out of reach. That sense of earned pride, of justified confidence. It's one of life's greatest pleasures. Then there's the reward of growth. When you consistently do what's hard, you develop capabilities that others never will. You build strength, not just physical strength, but mental strength, emotional strength, strength of character. You become someone who can be counted on. Someone who can weather storms, someone with depth and substance and grit. There's also the reward of opportunity. When you become the kind of person who does what's hard, doors open. People notice. They want you on their team. They want to work with you, invest in you, connect you with others. Your reputation becomes a valuable currency that creates possibilities most people never experience. And there's the reward of example. When you walk the hard path, you show others what's possible. You become living proof that comfort isn't the highest good, that challenges can be overcome, that human potential is far greater than most people ever tap into. Your life becomes an invitation for others to expect more from themselves. But perhaps the greatest reward is the person you become in the process. Because ultimately, success isn't about what you get, it's about who you become. When you consistently choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you develop character, you build integrity, you cultivate wisdom, you become someone worthy of respect, not just from others, but from yourself. And there's no price tag. You can put on self-respect. There's no amount of money, no level of comfort, no degree of convenience that can compensate for living with the knowledge that you took the easy way out when the hard way would have made you better. The hard path leads to a life you can be proud of. Not because it's perfect, it won't be. Not because it's pain-free, it isn't. But because it's a life of meaning, purpose, and genuine achievement. A life where you know you gave your best rather than settling for what was easy. That kind of life comes with a deep satisfaction that those on the easy path never experience. It comes with the quiet confidence of knowing you didn't cheat yourself out of becoming who you could have been. So yes, the hard path is, well, hard. It asks more of you. It demands your best. It requires sacrifice and discipline and persistence. But what it gives in return is worth every ounce of effort, every moment of discomfort, every drop of sweat. The choice is yours. It always has been. You can take the crowded, easy path that leads to ordinary results and quiet regret. Or you can take the less traveled, hard path that leads to extraordinary achievement and deep fulfillment. You can do what most people do and get what most people get. Or you can do what successful people do and create a life that inspires others and satisfies your soul. I hope you choose the hard path, not because it's easy, it isn't, but because it's worth it, because you're worth it, because the person you can become by walking that path is someone the world needs. Starting today, make a commitment to yourself. Promise that you'll no longer avoid what's difficult. Promise that you'll seek growth over comfort, achievement over convenience, character over popularity. Promise that you'll do at least one hard thing every day, something that stretches you, challenges you, makes you stronger, something that moves you one step closer to becoming the person you're capable of being. And when you face resistance, when the voice inside your head says this is too hard, or you can do this tomorrow, or no one would blame you for taking it easy, remember this. The hard path isn't just about what you're doing. It's about who you're becoming. Every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you're casting a vote for the person you want to be. You're strengthening your character. You're building your future. The road won't always be smooth. There will be setbacks and struggles, doubts and difficulties, but that's part of the journey. That's how you grow. That's how you discover what you're really made of. And one day you'll look back on the path you've traveled. You'll see the obstacles you've overcome, the growth you've experienced, the person you've become. And you'll know, without a doubt, that choosing the hard path was the best decision you ever made. Because success, real, meaningful, lasting success, it doesn't come to those who wish for it. It doesn't come to those who wait for it. Success comes to those who do what's hard. Those who push when others quit. Those who stay disciplined when others get distracted. Those who keep going when the path gets steep and the journey gets tough. That can be you. That should be you. That will be you. If you make the choice starting today to embrace the hard path that leads to the life you truly want. The decision is yours. What will you choose?